What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our week 4 team builder for NCL season 9, taking on Stu and the Toronto Trevenants. If you know anything about me and Stu, I've never beaten him. Seems to always counter team me. It's actually crazy how bad my matchups are against him every single time. And there's a specific strat that I'll talk about later that I'm hoping he doesn't bring, because it'll mean that he loses again if I brought a specific set, and twice now. He could have just lost had I brought the same set. But okay, his team consists of Kieran Black. Complex on it is no Dragon Dance, so I don't have to worry about that. Nidoking, Gardevoir, Arachnid, Escavalier. I don't mean that I don't have to worry about Kieran Black, just that I don't have to worry about Dragon Dance. Escavalier, Claydol, Megalopony, Raikou, Umbreon, Colossal, Decidueye. Priority options, he's got the Nidoking with Sucker Punch, Megalopony with Fake Out Quick Attack. Umbreon, I think it's Sucker Punch, and then Decidueye, Sucker Punch, Shadow Sneak. Hazard setting, he's got the Nidoking with Rocks and Toxic Spikes, Arachnid with Webs, which is where this comes in, Claydol with Rocks, and Colossal with Rocks and Spikes. Removal options, he's got the Claydol with the Spin, Colossal with Spin, and Decidueye with Defog. So it's reasonably reliable removal. We'll see if he wants to bring it a lot. I mean, he can really easily just like slap boots on Kyurem and Arachnid and then not even have to worry about hazards, but Colossal, I don't even know if that mod's gonna come. If I had to guess, it's probably not coming, but there's a possibility that it is the Genesect answer, and that it is coming as the Genesect answer. So we'll get to that. But 4 times weaknesses, the Escavalier to fire, Colossal to water, and ground. I believe I have them covered. Okay, so a couple seasons ago when I had Libero Cinderace, I think it was season 7 maybe? Might have been season 6, might have been season 7, I can't recall. It was one of the Mega Gardevoir seasons where I had Libero Cinderace and Darkrai actually. Must have been season 7, right? Anyways, I played Stu, and he brought Web Slurpuff against my Cinderace with Court Change. I didn't have Court Change, but I brought it. I didn't bring it because I was like, there's no way that he sets up Webs against me, because he just loses if I change the Webs back against him. And it's the same thing here. If he brings Webs against me and I Court Change them with Cinderace, which isn't coming by the way, he loses the game. It's over. Like, he can't outspeed me with anything. Genesect wins if he Court Changes Webs. So I don't think that he's going to bring Webs. If he does, I have an out this time, but like, it makes no sense to bring Webs against my team this time. Okay, now that we're past that, I don't think that anything is off the table for him this week. I think everything has a solid enough matchup. Even the things where I'm like, are they really going to come? Like Colossal, it's a good Genesect answer. Claydol, it's a good Garchomp answer. And Thundurus answer, I should mention as well. And then, you know, things like Raikou are probably coming because I have double water, but it can't really beat Garchomp without like burning it with Scald, so there's some things there. I think Kieran Black and Megalopony are shoo-ins. I think Nidoking is a shoo-in. I have a solid plan for Nidoking because I know exactly how he's going to want to build the Nidoking. I think Umbreon is probably a good shout, but it might not be. I do have a lot of physical attackers that abuse it, so Umbreon is quite possibly off the table entirely. Gardevoir is solid enough here that he might want to bring it as like a Scarf option, but it gets outrun by Gyarados, so I'm not entirely sure with that one either. Decidueye, again, another sort of iffy up in the air thing. Decidueye is actually really good against my Regen Core, as is Nidoking, of course, as is Kieran Black. Freeze Dry just demolishes my Regen Core, and Megalope can actually abuse my Regen Core as well just by U-turning. And then Arachnid. Escavalier, I haven't really prepped for. Like, I didn't bring any coverage. And it kind of can blow through a few of my mons, but I'm not really sure what I would change to be better against Escavalier. It's just got a naturally good matchup against my team. It is quite slow though, and he'd have to rely on like Trick Room and Claydol or something like that. If I was bringing Trick Room on my side, then maybe he'd be able to abuse that with Escavalier. Something for him to consider, I suppose. Where was I with this? Arachnid. Arachnid's iffy. Like I said, I don't think he brings Webs because if I Core Change them, he loses. So is he even going to bring Arachnid in the first place? maybe not. I can abuse it with a lot of stuff. I do have good physical attackers, and Araquanid is not the physically bulky mon, it's especially bulky mon. You know, the only reason I could see him bringing it is just with the choice band to like break stuff, which Kyurem Black can do in place of it. So Araquanid is maybe the one that I'm the least confident in him bringing out of everything. Hopefully that summarizes this for you. Okay, first up on my side, Tangrowth. Just bringing a physically defensive Tangrowth. This is the Mega Lob answer. It's a physical Decidueye answer. It's kind of a Kyurem Black answer. I actually do think this is going to be physical Nidoking. This isn't the physical Nidoking answer, but I think it's going to be physical Nidoking, and so that could be for that. This is also can check SCAV, kind of. Usually, if it's SD, then it probably just blows through me, but I can at least get a lot of passive damage off against it before I die. We're partially a Raikou Sponge, but like the Spadef on Tangrowth just isn't good enough to be able to be a Raikou Sponge entirely, unless I was AV, which I'm not. Hitmonchan is, though. Mach Punch, Straight Punch, Ice Punch, Rapid. I didn't even talk about Tangrowth's moves. Earthquake, Mike's suggestion, it hits a lot of stuff. I had Giga Drain on there before, but Earthquake actually just demolishes everything. And then Knockoff is just really good utility here. Gets rid of a ton of items, all useful, and it means that I'm not walled by the Decidueye. Leech Seed for recovery against everything not named Decidueye, and Toxic mainly for the Umbreon, but also very useful for the Claydol to put Garchomp in a winning position, as well as Araquanid, just anything that's not Nidoking or Escavalier. Okay, Hitmonchan, Mach Punch, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Rapid Spin. So first up, Mach Punch revenges Kyurem Black and Megalopony incredibly well. Hitmonchan's actually got a solid matchup here, right? Drain Punch picks on Umbreon. I don't think he's going to bring the Umbreon. I'm not as confident about the Umbreon, right? But if I'm full health, I could Drain Punch like... excuse me, like Kyurem Black, Escavalier, Raikou, Colossal, Megalopony, things like that. I can Drain Punch relatively safely. Ice Punch is there for the Nidoking, which I can switch into. This is a good special Nidoking answer. This is also a Raikou answer, special Raikou answer. So Ice Punch hits Decidueye, Nidoking, which are both Drain Punch resists, as well as the Gardevoir, and the Claydol, which is a Drain Punch resist. So Ice Punch hits everything not named Araquanid that's Drain Punch resist. Araquanid can switch into me for free if he wants. And then I have Spin. I'm not running any speed investment, but if I can spin up to enough level where I'm a threat, then that's a problem for him. Or Spin is just there to get rid of hazards, which is also good for me. So either way, Hitmonchan has a good matchup for once, and I'm bringing it. Garchomp. Scarf Chomp goes kind of in, actually. This is one of the first things that I noticed when I was just looking at his team before I started building. I'm running 4 attacks. Dragon Claw, Outrage, Earthquake, Aqua Tail. I've thought about dropping one of Dragon Claw or Outrage for Rocks, because I think Rocks are solid here, but I'm just going to not bring Rocks, because I want something in case the Gardevoir comes. Like, I don't want to be trapped there, locked into Outrage, Gardevoir comes in, and it can revenge me. Like, I don't want that, because Garchomp's a win con here, so... we're going to avoid that at all costs. Aqua Tail is there to hit the Claydol, which is going to do solid 50%-ish to physically defensive Claydol, which can otherwise tank Outrages and whatnot, which is, again, why I think Claydol might come. If I don't end up using Aqua Tail, I'll probably regret not putting Rocks on the set, but, you know, this is just how it goes. I'm running enough speed on Garchomp to outrun Kyurem Black. His speed drops off between Raikou and Kyurem Black, but I'm not able to abuse that with anything because I don't have anything in that grouping besides Garchomp and Thundy, which both have to run Timid for Kyurem anyways. Okay, Slowking. I'm running physically defensive AV Slowking. This is the greatest Nidoking answer ever, and let me tell you why. Stu is not someone to shy away from bringing physical Nidoking. Against a Slowking, he is bringing physical. He's bringing physical Nidoking or mixed Nidoking to this game. And that's why I'm physically defensive AV Slowking. It's the best Nidoking answer I have. It checks Gardevoir. Potentially can check Kyurem, some variants of Kyurem. I don't know that I'll take a Fusion Bolt, but I could take a Kyurem hit. Excuse me, I just woke up. Future Sight is just really good damage. Again, I'm not really sure that the Umbreon's coming, so it's going to be guaranteed damage after 2 turns. Scald for burning, you know, if the Umbreon's not there, I don't really need to Toxic much, so Scald is fine. Sashok to hit the Araquanid mostly, actually, but it's also a good way of just like bopping the Lopunny if I really need to. And Focus Blast mainly for the Kyurem Black, but it's also there for the Umbreon if I really have to 1v1 the Umbreon. So that is Slowking. Genesect, I'm bringing Douse Drive Genesect this week for the Colossal, because I think the Colossal is the Genesect check, so I wanted to have some way to kill that. Technoblast, which is water, which will just absolutely obliterate the Colossal. There's a possibility that I get an attack boost on it, which is fine actually, because I'm running Mix here. But especially, I'm going to demolish that. Flash Cannon hits a lot of this team well. And what can actually resist Flash Cannon does not resist Technoblast. So Seal Water is a good timing. But some Flash Cannons, therefore it's just another neutral hit. U-turn, if I get attack boosts, U-turn is really useful. Also, just to get momentum, you know, I'm sort of at the whim of Mega Lopunny clicking U-turn a lot of the times, but I can click U-turn myself. And then E-speed just to pick stuff off later. If I can get an attack boost, then E-speed cleaning up later is not a terrible option. I'm a little bit invested. It's not going to be like the most damage in the world, but if things are in range of E-speed, then I can pick them off, like Nidoking or things like that. If they're like Scarfers, like Nidoking and Gardevoir, then I would be happy about that. One thing I have to be worried about, and I didn't think about this, is Gardevoir tracing download. That might be really bad for me. So something to consider on my end, just because I'm running Naive instead of Hasty. Because I don't want to die to fake a quick attack. Like, all the priority on his team is physical. So I wanted to make sure that I'm not just dying to priority, right? But that would mean that Gardevoir gets a special attack boost on my Genesect, and that could be bad. Last but not least is Gyarados. This is another win condition alongside the Garchomp. It's a really big threat to his team, actually. I'm not sure what he can build that checks it. Besides like Foul Play Umbreon, which I resist Foul Play, so he kind of has to bring Scarf Raikou, Scarf Kyurem Black, or Scarf Nidoking. I think Scarf Raikou is probably what he goes with, just to like T-Bolt Gyarados to death. I am fairly just a good special bulk Mon in general, but we'll sort of see. If I can bring this in on like Escavalier, that's a decent opportunity for me to just start setting up, intimidate it, and then Escav doesn't really get much to hit like regular Gyarados. You can sort of set up on it a couple times. Same with the Araquanid. Yeah, so Dragonance, Crunch, Waterfall, Stone Edge. So Crunch, it hits a lot of stuff neutrally here. Waterfall is, again, it's a neutral stab that's just gonna be able to blow through some stuff. It's super effective against some things, but the Claydol doesn't overly matter in this case. Stone Edge is really where it comes into play. Stone Edge is going to hit the Araquanid, it's going to hit the Kyurem Black. Those are the two things that can probably live boosted hits. Well, Kyurem Black at least will be able to live a boosted hit, but I don't think that it'll live boosted Stone Edge. So depending on if I have to risk it or not, like if I can't chip the Kyurem Black into range, or if it's like a Roost variant or something like that, then I might not be able to not risk it, and I might have to take the Stone Edge. Wow, I'm sorry guys, I just literally woke up, so my voice is going all over the place. Okay, in terms of what I'm not bringing, Cinderace. This is a calculated risk? I don't know what to call this. Like, Cinderace is good, it's a solid 7th option for me here. I really just thought that these 6 were better. There's definitely like room for a 7th or 8th Pokemon in this matchup, and I just don't have the actual like space on my team for it. Mimikyu is the other one that I think could be 8th. Mimikyu is really solid. Escav is the only good check to it. And it actually wipes a lot of this team out pretty easily. Nidoking being the biggest problem. There was a Mimikyu set that I was considering, and I dropped it before posting my team. But yeah, Kecleon, another actually solid Mon. It's definitely a good Nidoking, Gardevoir, Raikou check, but Megalop and Kyurem Black pick on it a little bit too much this week. You know, it's a tier 5, so it can't come all the time, but sometimes it just has matchups where you have to bring it, right? Thundy T, I don't think Thundy T is actually that good here. I think Thundy T is probably only usable as a Raikou answer. or like a Fusion Bolt switch in, but even then it's terrible, so you're not actually going to tank the Fusion Bolt, you'll just resist it. I don't know that Thundy's the best option in this matchup unless I really needed to kill a Rakudid, and I could bring like physical Thundy T. And then Aggron, which doesn't look terrible, but also doesn't look fantastic. Again, it's just another Mega Lop weak Mon. Trying to like stray away from bringing Mons that are just weak to their biggest threats, because that means that their biggest threats can come in more often, and those are generally the things that I'm most scared of. So hopefully this goes well. I'm not really super optimistic about it, but I've never really been super optimistic about my matchups in NCL for the most part. In hindsight, this one might look better than what I see now, but only because I can see that I can bring 8 Mons. But with the build that I have, I'm not super thrilled about it. I'm not super terrified of it, so it's sort of like a middle ground matchup for me, and I'm not really going to blame that on a loss or a win. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys for the match.